Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to possibly the biggest preview yet. Well, it's definitely the biggest game. This time Pompey host Accrington Stanley at Fratton Park on Sky Sports Football. Pompey do know that a win will see them safely into the playoffs, where they will face one of Blackpool, Sunderland or Lincoln. But with failure to win, Oxford or Charlton will be on our tails hunting for 6th position. Can the Blues do it? Let's preview the game now. Now, of course, Pompey fans will be hopeful and just dreaming of a good end to the season. Obviously, Jackett did leave us after the back-to-back losses against Salford and Sunderland. Obviously, Salford was a draw, but still. And this season has been underwhelming, yes. Pompey fans expectant of a league title or a promotion push. That didn't come to fruition. We were sat in 10th place when Jackett did leave. The Cowleys came in and they've gone into what is a kind of resurgence for the Blues, seeing us quite simply battling for that playoff spot. We got in there, came out, got back in there again, and if we could get 6th spot, I think that's a season. Well, it's not a season triumph, but I think for the Cowleys and for the time period they have, I think it's a success. I think they have earned a new 2-year deal or a year deal or whatever. I think they've earned a new one. I just think one win away from the playoffs. If I'd have been given this chance 12 games ago when the Cowleys came in, to win one more game against Accrington Stanley to have a playoff place, I would have bitten your hand off. Because I didn't think we'd have playoffs. I thought it'd be a summer of, well, it was nearly happened. It nearly happened. Okay, we'll enjoy ourselves and we'll do League One again next year. But we have a chance. I've never felt so... I'll say this as well is, yes, we've got to win to get into the playoffs, and of course that won't be easy. Accrington are a good side. We'll talk about them in more detail in a minute. But I feel more confident now than ever before going into a playoff campaign. I feel more confident now than I have before with the Cowleys in charge of us getting to the playoffs. I think they, if anyone, they will be the people that can get us up via the playoffs. I know it won't be easy. You know, you've got sides like Blackpool, Lincoln and Sunderland already there. 3 good sides. I think Sunderland and Lincoln we could easily better over 2 legs. I know Sunderland have bettered us before, but I think we could better them. Blackpool, on the other hand, they've beaten us twice this season, very good side, but still, the Cowleys haven't managed the game against them yet. Master tacticians, Danny and Nicky Cowley are, we can hope. Anyway, we'll digress and continue on to Accrington's kind of preview, their kind of stuff, before we go back over and talk more about Pompey. But John Coleman's men, their last 5 games, they lost 3-1 away to Rochdale before beating Doncaster 2-1 at home, and then they've had 3 draws in a row, including 2 3-3 ones as well. They went to the Stadium of Light drawing 3-3. They faced Pompey at the Wham Stadium drawing 3-3 again, before facing Charlton last Saturday, getting another 1-1 draw, but they felt they should have won that, having been 1-0 up until the last 10 minutes. The league position then, with that form and the form they've had for the rest of the season, they're 13th in the league after 45 League One games, 17 wins, 13 draws, and the rest of them being losses with 15 of those. 64 points, not a bad turnout for Accrington Stanley. I think they'll be happy. You know, they're staying in the division again. I think any season where they're in League One is punching above their club size, and fair play to John Coleman and their lads, their fans as well. They'll be so happy. I know they look like they could have a playoff push on their hands at the beginning of the season, but that didn't happen. But I still think it's a good season for them. Their away record then we'll talk about and where that ranks. They have 27 points on the road this season from 22 games, winning 7, drawing only 6 and losing 9. That is the 17th best in the league from 22 games there. It's not great, but equally it's not the worst. You know, teams come to Fratton Park and have the worst away records and beat us there. They played. I've listened to Danny Cowley's pre-match talk, and he said he thinks they play differently away as they do at home. So that could play into our hands, but I don't think they're going to play stupidly at Fratton Park because they wouldn't. They're not dumb. But I think Pompey will have a task on their hands. The key players then, I've changed this up from last week where we had 3 different ones. Well, okay, 2 of them are the same. I've just swapped one of them. The key players are Dion Charles, Sean McConville and Cameron Burgess. Dion Charles, a striker or centre forward. Sean McConville, a central midfielder, but I think he can also play on the wing. And then Cameron Burgess can play centre back or left back. I picked a player from each kind of level of the pitch. They do also have another striker who's also good. I think it's Dion Charles they have up front, who's a very good player. The top scorer then this season is on that list, Dion Charles. He scored 19 for the season. The most assists was on this list of the top 3, but I took him off to put Dion Charles up there, and that is Joe Pritchard. Actually, I think I've messed up. I think it's Colby Bishop plays up front for Accrington, I think. The other striker I'm trying to think of, I think it's Colby Bishop. Couldn't really remember. I do apologise if I've messed that up. But Joe Pritchard has got their most assists this season. Now, we will go on to their stats before we hear from Dad and Lewis this week. We're going to have both of them on. It's great to have Lewis back. Shots on target per match then, 4.44 average in the league. Big chances created is 14th, 47 of those created. Big chances missed is 8th in the league with 46. Goals per match equals is 9th with 1.4, quite good that. And penalties awarded is low, 10th with 6 this season. The defensive stats then, 17th on goals conceded per match with 1.5 averaging every match. Clean sheets then, put the microphone back. Clean sheets then is 10th in the league with 14. Penalties conceded, they're 20th in the league with only 4 conceded. Saved per match is 2nd in the league with 3.1 on average per match. Clearances per match as well is quite high, 3rd in the league with 22.8. And successful tackles per match is quite low with 9.5, which is 16th in the league. Well, it's not going to be easy, and I think Pompey fans need to acknowledge that. Accrington, yeah, they're not the best of sides. I mean, I'd rather not be playing a team like Hull, Lincoln, Sunderland, Blackpool on the final day. But they have nothing to play for. But if we're Pompey fans playing a team that could get from playoffs, we'd want to beat them. That's what I always say is, okay, they may have nothing to play for. That's out of the question. Yes, they're 13th. Can't get playoffs, can't be relegated. Okay, but you come into this game, you're thinking, hold on a minute, Pompey want to win this because they can get in the playoffs. We could be the people that stop that from happening. Teams don't just finish in mid-table and go, right, that's our season done then, lads, we'll go on the beach hats. Yes, they won't be throwing goalkeepers forward and stuff to try and get the wins because they don't need to, but they equally want to try and get something. They don't always want to go out the season with a whimper. They want to finish as high as they can. And people always say the cliche of, I think I've got nothing to play for, it's easy. Never easy. Football is a never easy game. We win though, we're in the playoffs. We'll talk about the last 2 stats quickly though. Average possession is 48%, 19th in the league. Possession won in the final third is the highest in the league with 225 times. Clean sheets all season 14, 6 red cards, 70 yellows. But now I think it is time we hear from the two of them. We hear from Dad and we hear from Lewis. I'll pass it over to you, lads.
Right, preview of Sunday's massive game against Accrington. Obviously, we win, we're in the playoffs. I do think it's going to be a bit nervy, but I do think having Lee Brown back in the side, having Hawula probably to come off the bench, having Watmore back after a 4-game suspension gives us lots of different options. Obviously, I think Curtis is vital for us in this game. I hope Marquis can get his shooting boots from somewhere because I haven't been very impressed with him of late. But if you'd have offered me 1 game to go, win and you're in the playoffs, you'd have taken that all day when we were 10th in the league and Jacket had just left and we were sliding down the league rapidly. I think the Cowleys have done a good job since they come in under difficult circumstances. Obviously, we've had injuries, we've had suspensions, we've had a few players, for me, who haven't really pulled their weight. But I'm going to stay positive for this game, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. And that'll get us in the playoffs. If we get in the playoffs, anything's possible. At the moment, it looks like if we do finish 6th, we'll play Blackpool. Obviously, we've lost to them twice this season already. But for me, it's a different ball game now. We've got a new manager in place. Hopefully the squad will be rejuvenated. But let's get through this first game first. And just win the game. Let's not worry about what Oxford or Charlton, what they're doing. We can't rely on other results. We've just got to go for it and win the game. So I'm going to be positive, going for a 2-1 win. Keep the faith, up the Mill Army and up the Blues.
Here is my preview for the Pompey vs Accrington game. And really it's simple. It's a must win. We win this, we get playoffs, which I didn't expect us to get when we were with Jacket. But Cowley's come in and done bits. It's going to be a hard game though with Accrington. Just under 2 weeks ago, 3-3 draw. We could have won it, but obviously John Marcus with the own goal. Got a hat-trick. Fair play, but one in the wrong net. But yeah, it's going to be a hard game. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win though. We're at home. I feel like we'll have the more buzz of it, because we're going for playoffs, and I hope we do, up the Blues.
Now, thank you to both of them for tuning in again, for sending in their clips. Talking about tuning in, don't forget to join us live for this whole weekend. It's a football-filled weekend. We'll be live, me and Dad, in here from 12 o'clock on Saturday. Well, tomorrow or today, whenever this video does come out. Saturday midday we'll be live, going through the Championship final day. We'll then end the stream and then have a 15-minute break before we come back for the League 2 final day. We'll finish that one off. And then on Sunday, it's the big one. My nan will be joining us for that one, along with Dad again. And that sees Pompey take on Accrington at home. The whole of the league will be covered. We'll have Sky Sports up. We'll have match updates. We'll talk about everything. Don't forget to join us on either of those. But we'll talk about the rest of the league now then. Charlton, Pompey's other promotion, playoff hopefuls, face the Travellers, Hull, who have already won the league, but they'll want as many points as possible. Blackpool host Bristol Rovers, a team that have already got the playoffs there in Blackpool, and a team that are already down in Bristol Rovers. Blackpool do want to get third position though. Crewe then host Shrewsbury. Peterborough travel to Doncaster. Peterborough already promoted, nothing to play for really other than points. Doncaster the same, nothing to play for, they're out of it. Plymouth go to Gillingham, nothing to play for there. Ipswich host Fleetwood, nothing to play for there. Lincoln host Wimbledon, wanting to finish off strongly in the playoffs. MK Dons host Rochdale. Pompey's other playoff hopefuls, Oxford, they host Burton Albion. Accrington then travel down to Fratton Park, hoping to cause an upset. Northampton travel to Sunderland. Sunderland again wanting to finish as high up as they can in the playoffs. And Wigan host Swindon. Swindon, of course, relegated already. Wigan are safe. Now, we'll look at the table then, because I think we have to for a game day like this. Hull and Peterborough already promoted. Hull on 89 points, Peterborough on 84. Both teams, nothing to play for. The playoff picture then. Blackpool, Sunderland, Lincoln, Pompey, Oxford and Charlton all in with a shout. Blackpool, Sunderland and Lincoln all confirmed already, just to see how they finish up and where it goes. Pompey, Oxford and Charlton then. Pompey play Accrington, Oxford play Burton and Charlton play the league leaders Hull. A win will see Pompey into the playoffs. If Pompey draw, Oxford winning would see them into the playoffs. If Pompey lose, Oxford winning would see them into the playoffs as well. An Oxford win would see them in above Charlton anyway, dependent on Pompey's result. If Pompey and Oxford fail to win, Charlton will be there to try and capitalise on it. 71, 71 and 72 points respectively for those three teams. Pompey have the upper hand, but they need to hold on to it, especially as we do have less goal difference as well. So a draw for Oxford could see them in. If we lose an Oxford draw, Oxford will be a playoff team. No, that's not what we want. Pompey need to be in these playoffs come the end of the season. We have literally, from when recording this, 48 hours pretty much until Pompey fans will know whether we'll be playing in the playoffs or not. But we're going to leave that video there. I hope you've enjoyed this one. It possibly could be a bit longer as well. Don't forget though, can we get 15 likes? Do tune in from any time tomorrow. We'll be live from 12 until about 5 probably. About a 5-hour long stream for the two leagues. We'll cut it halfway through there so we can interchange from Championship to League 2. And then on Sunday we'll be back live again from my nan's. Probably about 11, half past 11 we'll be live from, as it is a 12 o'clock kickoff. I want to be there early, get all the build up, suck it in, and we'll get down to Fratton Park after the game as well. We'll do all the chat through for that, everything. Don't forget to tune in. But that is where this video ends. I hope you've enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. And most importantly, play up Pompey.